on to the next. It was nice to watch film and only see 5 turnovers. It was nice to see us really execute and get defensive stops the last 8 minutes of that game. We were dialed in. We looked like a really good basketball team in those moments. A lot of things to grow on from that game. We beat a good Michigan State team that had obviously won 7 in a row and been hot. So, held serve, and now it's on the road to Minnesota, a team that is confident. They're coming off a great road win at Ohio State. Took Wisconsin to the wire at Wisconsin. So this is a team that is playing much better than their record. They're very big. They have tremendous physicality. They've got one of the guys that is maybe playing as well as anybody in Dawson Garcia. Inside out threat, can drive it, can beat you off the bounce. And they're a team that is a very, very capable team offensively of having big nights from the 3. So we've got to play hard. We've got to be dialed in terms of being able to understand that they're going to, Dawson can pick and pop, Dawson can roll, Dawson can post. They've got a big point guard. Cooper is a young man that is an unbelievable shooter. If you give him a crack, he's going to make it. So you put him with Battle, and that gives you a very formidable trio. So a good basketball team, and we're going to have to play well to win.
Coach, quick turnaround and a lot of games in a short span here. How do you manage that from the fatigue factor?
Yeah, it's the challenge has been we've had a lot of the late games, so it's a short, abrupt, more mental day yesterday in terms of preparation. We moved very quickly from the previous game and moved right on to the next. We try every day to, after every game to find 1 or 2 things to clean up, and then we work on it or talk about it. But we didn't go real long yesterday. Today we'll have a good hard practice and prep for Minnesota, and then it's Fletch and Paul and Palmer's job to help these guys with recovery and hydration and nutrition, and we count on those guys to really work at it.
You got feedback from Luke's appointment earlier, a couple days ago, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a progression back to practice now. So he's I actually watched him run sprints yesterday. He'll start very shortly here with some light individual workouts on the court, and then working his way back to a full practice and then kind of fitting him in. So the progression's been positive.
What have you seen from him just managing through this time and just kind of the way he's approached this?
Yeah, the hardest thing to do is, one, when you're that age, have patience. But he's impatient, and I think he's done everything that he can do. I think he's occupied his time in a very positive way. I think he's learned to see the game a little bit, maybe from a coaching side of view, other than just the player side. But he's done everything he can possibly do, and some probably. So he's been great, and we'll look forward to seeing him back in practice.
Or kind of change up the offense early in the season. What made the spread kind of the system you wanted to kind of lean on and focus on?
Passing, and again, spreads is an offense. It's based on versatility. It's very positionless, but it's about passing. It's about cutting. We're a very good cutting team. So you put all those things together, and it just kind of fit.
You kind of ran the spread a little bit at Stephen F. Austin. When did you kind of get introduced to the spread? When did you start kind of using that?
Oh, we're going to go back a long time. Johnny Orr. When Johnny Orr was coach at Iowa State, played against it. And I've always felt as a player it was one of the hardest things to guard. And just kind of took it. Dana Altman ran a version of it at Creighton. We do some things a little different, but a lot of the similarities. And then it's something, as soon as I became head coach, I started with, and I've just kind of developed it and tweaked it based on teams. I love it because you can have a driving team, a shooting team, you can have a pick and pop 5-man, you can have a roller, but I love the versatility of it. So it's I did a clinic in when I was at Stephen F. in Florida, and a high school coach walked up to me, and he was in his late 70s, still coaching high school basketball, still running it, and he asked me where I got it, and he told me where he got it. He got it at a clinic, and he said, "Does the name Hinkle mean anything to you?" And he goes, "I got it from Coach Hinkle at a clinic back in the 50s." So it's a pretty old offense. It's been around for a while.
Are there things you can do with Dane that you could do with that you did do with Kofi, and are there things that you find that you can do with Dane that you couldn't do with Kofi?
Oh, there's a ton. Yeah, I mean, Kofi was a predominant, roller, front of the rim, 2 feet in the paint, type guy. Dane's jump hooks, right hand, left hand, his post ups off the block, his ability to use the bounce, his isolation stuff. 2 completely different players, and see some of the same results because Dane's very, very effective doing some of the same things Kofi is, but he's got a big bag, so to speak, in terms of ideas and things that we can do with him.
Might be a silly question, but a couple of years ago, you guys did that all-access game against Penn State. Can you take anything realistically from that, or like how did you approach maybe not putting everything on the table, so to speak, like Minnesota?
I didn't worry about it personally. I think everybody's different. We all have a pretty good idea of what everybody's calls are and plays are. It's still getting those 5 guys to understand it and handle that. So, Minnesota's got really good personnel. Do we have play calls? Yeah, we still had them anyway. So it's not that big a deal.
Coach, it seems like during this winning streak, the roles are a little better defined. Is that a fair assessment? And are the players a little bit more bought into what's expected?
Well, I think there's more comfort. I think just the fact that it's mid-January and we've played, I don't even know what a record is. You played 15 games or 16 games, whatever it is. You start to identify those type of things. And, as a coaching staff with 9 new guys, we had to figure out where to go and who could do what. And that takes some time. But, so role identification is always a big part of success.
Brad, I know you pride yourself on defense with this group, but when you hold Nebraska to 1 point over the final 4.5 minutes or so, and you outscore Michigan State 15-6 over the last 4.5 minutes or so, how tough is it to kind of lock in defensively at that point in the game, especially in a conference like the Big Ten, and how well does that reflect on this group of guys to have been able to do that for the last few games?
Yeah, I lock in a lot defensively. I probably lock in more defensively because then I've got to be very dialed into what they're trying to run and what they're trying to, the adjustments they're trying to make against us. And we made a couple switches the other night, or a couple changes the other night that led to some late game switches because of their personnel. So I'm probably every bit as dialed in defensively as I am offensively. Same thing. If they make an adjustment, you've got to counter. But if we can get stops and rebounds, especially with a lead, then it puts a lot of pressure on people, and so we're very dialed in on that side of things to some situations we may have to handle and make changes.
Do you expect Sincere available tomorrow?
I do.
Anything unique about Minnesota that you have to adjust to?
Yeah, Dawson. Dawson's a unique guy. Dawson's talented, and they've got above average 3-point shooting. I mean, they're a team that can really get going shooting it. We've got to guard the 3, and Dawson, catches the ball, plays a lot in the middle third of the floor. He's a very good ball handler. He's a guy that, again, can pick and pop, and he's a good passer. So, if you switch Smalls onto him, he goes to the post. So he's a guy that provides tremendous versatility, and that's unique to have a 5-man that can do some of those things.
It's like Dane's been one of the beneficiaries the last couple weeks after you guys made your tweaks. How important was having someone with his skill set and allowing you guys to be able to pivot like you did?
Yeah, we've always known Dane's really talented. I think it was a matter of more so than, you know, he was playing, but it was a matter of one, conditioning. It was a matter of two, you know, a little concerned with depth in some areas, and trying to manage the inside out, you know, part of it. You know, Coleman was so good in our, you know, in our 5-out stuff, and yet we needed paint touches, and you know, that's why the change is. We've always known Dane's extremely talented and very gifted as a passer, very gifted as a scorer. So you know, it was just time and point touches or paint touches, excuse me, were a big part of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.